you've got a lovely spot here, Ethel. You got the sun, I'd say, quite nicely
yes,
as well.
and I'm crucified with ants.
Oh, okay, all right.
Jesus, I am.
Well, apart from the private houses in Killincarrig, Ethel, these cottages along here probably would have been the first to be built, were they? Before Castle Villas or Carrick Villas?
Oh yes, these were, but these over across the road were.
Yeah, they're the soldiers'
Right.
cottage. They're almost the soldiers' cottages.
No, they're not soldiers'
Are they not
cottages.
called?
No, soldiers' cottages
The one up on the hill.
up in the hill.
Ah.
These are. Joan tells me her house there is 112 years old.
Oh.
Right.
Because she got a new door and she did see the date on a piece of wood. That's how she knows.
I read there's an 1837 publication, the Topographical History of Ireland, and at that point they said there was 23 houses and 168 people in Killincarrig. And I was just thinking now whether that would be predominantly, was a working class little village, or whether it was, I don't know, I would imagine a lot of kind of council houses more than...
I would say it's a working class, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, it certainly, with the advent of the council houses, it was a working class village.
Yes,
right.
Yeah.
But I would say these council cottages on the Mill Road here are the first of the council
These
cottages.
are over 85 or 86 years old.
That's 42.
Right.
Yes,
right.
yes. And then the storage went in, and I must have been, I was a young thing at the time, so we got the light. I remember the light coming in here.
Ah,
well, I was talking.
Shilling a week it was.
Shilling
a week.
No, I was talking to Molly Smullen, and Molly's 90. I think she's in her 91st year now.
Yeah, that's it. Yes.
And she told me that when she moved into, she's in Castle Villas.
right.
That she moved in there, and I think she said Patrick was born the year she moved in, and he's 66, and were people there before her for 2 years. So that would have been 49, is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
1949,
yes.
And she said the houses on the opposite side, which are Carrick Villas.
They were
built
before that.
Before that.
Oh, right.
Because we used to have we used to go up. Father bred cockers, black cockers, and we used to bring them out through a hole in the fence up there and go across the fields and out to the out to the golf links.
But it strikes me that the village, I know that obviously there is change, but it's sort of the same. Like when I grew up in the 70s, this is exactly how Killincarrig looked to me.
It's the same. Well, the other houses there, it was known as the playground, but I think they call it New Road now. And what's the other one? Castle.
Crest.
No, where the nobles lived.
The villas and
Castle Field.
No.
All right.
Oh Christ!
It's just off the New Road, right?
Yeah, they were built more or less at the end of the 50s. They were kind of built in tandem, more or less.
Oh, they were later than that, Charlie. Later than that, or 50s. They were later. I'd say it was more end of the 50s.
End of the 50s.
Yes.
But when it came to now that there is the village store and then there's a beauty shop and all that, but I don't know, when it came to O'Brien's and it came to Clark's and Gambles, were they, I don't know what.
Bridget was the first lady in the shop.
Okay.
Bridget was the first person. And I lived in the Connor's house, beside the orchard. And I remember when it was opened, her little stores.
What year was that, Ethel? Would you remember?
It was 1950. I'd be 60 years married the end of this month.
Oh.
So it must be 1970.
All right.
Yeah, it was 1970.
No, it wouldn't be 1950.
No, 60, 1960. Because we moved into Connor's house in 1958, and we were there for 3 years. And in the meantime, Bridget had opened her stores.
And that was like a general kind of grocery store.
Well, I know. I was young enough when it opened. The first thing my mother said to me, go down and get the evening press.
That's right. That's right.
So I would say that's 50. Probably 59.
59 or 60.
Right.
Yeah.
And was there shops before that? I'm sure there were. Like,
No,
we
only
always-
John
no.
Clark.
It was only John
Okay,
Clark.
John Clark's. And was Clark's a similar shop, or what were they
It
doing?
was a grocery shop. John didn't
Alright.
do newspapers or anything else like that.
Butter, tea,
right.
butter, and
You know,
sweeties.
and Mrs. O'Brien had odd little bits of things like sewing needles and wool and thread and everything like that. A little haberdashery as well. She had in it as well as.
Oh, was she sort of instantly successful, or I don't know
Oh,
whether
I
it
think
was
she
sort
was
of-
instantly successful. Yeah.
She should
Right.
run what could you say, a bill every year, every
Okay.
week. So
run you up
people,
your.
yes,
Nice.
and she had cigarettes and she had butter and sugar and you know who came there the first time to serve, and she was only a nipper. Betty Hunt from Kilcool.
Yeah, but she was Kindlestown.
That's right. She was married to
Right.
She was
the
around
Hunt.
Yes.
Well, her sister May always helped her there. May Kilbride and Bridget.
Yeah, but she had Betty was there because I remember going in and out. It was the time when I used to smoke, and I was always hopping in and hopping out for fags.
I'm thinking of when I grew up in Dalby now, there were certain family names that were, sort of dominant, like, Burns and Bradshaws, and there's a few names of Joyce up the back row and all that. I don't know whether there was a similar thing here. I think Hayden's were one of the families that
Hayden's would have been
connected.
always here, yeah.
O'Brien's, I guess.
There were
and
two
Clark's.
families of Quinns. There were two
Right.
families of Smullins.
Right.
Yeah, they would be names that would be synonymous with Killincarrig.
Sure, they're
yeah.
still here. Well, you mean still
Yeah.
meet the
Yeah.
and that idea of the you mentioned the two shops. Now there was the Irish. Was it Gammel's? There was an Irish.
Michael Gannon came to it late. He
Right.
Michael Gannon came to that very late.
Okay.
I mean, he didn't run it for very
No,
long.
he made a killing out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like he
Well,
just
Michael-
hit and run, like he saw?
No, Michael
Oh.
bought it as an investment.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
Right.
exactly
And
it.
he built a house beside it, and he built houses in behind it. So
Right.
Michael bought
Right.
it
It's
as
just property rather
asset
than this
and
is like I want to
investment.
run
Yeah,
a
it's
shop.
property to Michael, and then he ran the shop successfully for maybe 3 or 4 years, maybe a little longer.
And John Clark lived in your house.
He did where I live now. Yeah, Clark lived there at
yeah.
one stage. Yeah.
There you
And
go.
they let the big house out, Clark's, to Bobby Hughes. Remember Bobby Hughes?
Bob Hughes, yeah. He was manager of Kilquay Quarry.
Ah, okay. Because I spoke with the great boss Hayden, and they're deep in the wool around here now. I was up doing a history of the Farleys yesterday, the Farleys butchers, and
Oh,
I know that the boss Hayden was there as well. Like he ran the butchers there for a while, the father of, and he seems they seem a family that were kind of deep into Killincarrig as well, or were they?
Well, they would have been they would have been one of the original inhabitants or people who moved into Castle Villas.
Right.
The number
Okay.
3 Castle Villas, the Haydens have lived there.
where did they come from?
Well,
I
they were
know-
Delgany.
I know Mally's mother was a Hayden
Yeah,
because Brian did the
family tree.
family tree and he had to
Ah.
come down here, to
Right.
Mally. And I don't know
But
where.
Mrs. Hayden was a Bradshaw.
That's
was
right.
sister-
She
she
came
was
from the Downs.
She was a sister of Harry Bradshaw. the
Yeah.
golfer.
Right. Ah, there you go. There's
Was
it's
she a
always
sister?
connected.
I think she was a sister.
Yeah, because I
Oh,
know
she-
that.
yeah,
Well, boss was
she
talking about.
No.
A sister or a cousin?
Yeah.
Was she a
She
cousin?
was probably a relation,
A
but she
relation,
wasn't
Harry, yeah.
sister.
Because
Yeah.
boss was telling me, he's related. He's talking about
Can you
James
edit all
Clear
this?
and the
Can you
Bradshaw.
edit this stuff?
Sorry.
Can you edit this thing?
Well, yeah, no. I usually let it sort of run. It's kind of it's easier because I don't know how to edit, so it's just
Yeah.
easier to let it run. It's a normal conversation then.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Mrs. Hayden was a relation of Harry
Yeah.
Bradshaw.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not university challenge. We won't be kind of taking points away from you, but the main house, I guess.
I don't want to follow an echo.
What do you mean, John?
The main house now, Killincarrig House. I read there in 1837 that was A. Jones Esquire, and he ran the flour mill. I don't know who exactly
The
A.
flour mill
Jones.
is that's the one down the road.
Yeah. The obviously but it suggested that the man in 1837 who was living in Killincarrig House also ran the mill. I don't know if that's possible. A. Jones.
I
is his
don't
name?
think so.
No. Okay, that was in this,
When I
this
was kid, the
publication.
man who lived there was a man called Emerson, and he was the estate
Right.
agent for the
Yeah.
Burnaby estate.
That's
There
exactly.
you go. Well, that's probably
And
what it is. Then they probably
Yeah.
mixed
I
it up,
remember
yeah.
my father was telling me that he and his brother mitched out in the what is the mill house, the flour place,
Oh yeah.
and his father used to train horses,
Ah.
and he got a big rope, tied them together, and marched them down to the school, wherever the school was. I do not know.
Nice.
Yeah, that was nice.
And
Yeah.
was that have been? I don't know when you guys were growing up here, whether the house was quite quite the sort of centre of the town. Did it feel like it was an important house, or was it just a big house?
Just a big house.
Right. There wasn't any kind of
Not at all.
airs and graces about it at that
No,
point.
no.
No. Because I know it ran into disrepair for quite a while, and it was more just a.
Where
a
are you
living-
talking about now?
This is Killincarrig House up here
Oh
on the hill.
yes,
Yeah.
up the hill, yes.
Yeah, just
The
up
one
beside.
behind
It's
the.
up for sale now. It's been sold and it's going to be developed.
Yes, that's right.
Just on the main
Remember
street.
That was never known as Killincarrig House.
Oh, what was that called then?
I can't remember what it was called, but it was never Killincarrig House.
Ah, okay.
That's
I've heard
beside
that reference
Vale
now.
House now.
It is beside Vale House, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
But that
well,
was
that's-
also that was owned by I think Wilfred. The last man who
That's
lived
right,
in that was Wilfred Evans.
Yeah,
And
Right.
he
That's
followed
right.
Emerson as
he
Yeah.
was the
As
steward of,
as a steward of
the
the
Burnaby.
Burnaby.
Well, I know
estate.
some of the history now because I've looked into it now. I know there was Killincarrig House where the woodlands were and where the golf club is. That was Killincarrig Farmhouse, and then
That's
this
right.
was also apparently dubbed at one point. They just sort of had this idea of calling everything Killincarrig
Do you know
House.
Winnipeg? Did you
Yes,
ever?
I have, yeah.
That was a coach house,
Ah,
and
yes.
you go in through one gate, and you come out through the other gate.
Ah.
There was two
Yeah, there
houses.
were two big gates.
Nice.
The two big gates are still there.
And coach house being like, you know, like an inn, you'd stay out,
Yes,
stay over and all that.
the coaches
refresh
used
the
to go
horses
in,
and all
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Ah, that's cool. And that idea too of as I said, the town, to me now the village hasn't changed much. I don't know whether you guys would feel differently because obviously there are housing estates around you now. You've got, you know, nice one down there, you've got Aldi.
Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me.
But it feels very different because I always just like the fact that you certainly this main area just seems the same to me. I mean, growing up, I would have thought seen these houses exactly as they are, pretty much. And
No, you
well, up
can't get
towards-
across the road.
well, that's tricky, all right. I know talking to Hattons, it's a bit of a death trap trying to get just outside their house there.
Desperate.
yeah.
Yes.
But that is, I think, a problem just about everywhere around here. The traffic
That's
increase.
exactly it.
Yeah. Dalton's become a bottleneck.
Well, it's much
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's much more traffic.
And
Yeah,
Delvin is
yeah.
going to lose its little village with all these houses going up.
It's tough. Yeah, I think.
it's not
I think
nice.
if you were to fly from, you know, you could pretty much fly from Dalney to Greystones and just go through housing estates. You wouldn't need to go near roads. They all connect now pretty much. They've just finished the ones beside the Horse and Hound that are already connected to the ones beside the Horse and Hound. They go to Killincarrig, and those Killincarrig reach out and touch Greystones housing estates. And
Well, I
Definitely,
came
yeah.
down through, you know, Templecarrig where the school is, the night
Right.
of the blessing of the graves.
oh yes,
And
yes,
We couldn't get out, so we said, "Oh, we'll go that way."
yeah.
I've never seen so many houses, Charlie. Have you
Yeah,
been
so
there?
I've been up there.
As the crow flies now, it's a lot of
Sea
it's,
green and
yeah.
I
It's
know
like
that.
somebody won a lot of Monopoly and they've just got houses on every street.
Everywhere.
I might do a Google Earth shot, I think, just to sort of see exactly what the pattern looks like now. But just the other day, they're just knocking down the wall where Cafferty's old house used to be. The one just as you're coming
Oh,
into
have
Dalgony. They've knocked because they've finished building the houses and they've taken away that
Been
wall
up
as
there
access.
for a long
the only advantage of that, Paul, is that they're taking away the bad corner. They're obviously going to widen the
Right,
road.
yeah. But that's a price you pay, though. You know that people probably aren't. You know, oh great, we've got a wide road, but all the countryside's gone. But you know, I know what you're saying. I know it'll be everything will be a bit more efficient and better kind of, you know, pavements and better roads, and sometimes that is definitely the bigger, better advantage. But you lose a lot too at times when you're looking around, you know.
Yeah,
But that's
I
just
know.
the way of progress, and
That is.
because we're
Greed
all such
is an
beautiful,
awful thing.
yeah.
Greed is an awful thing.
But also because we're such beautiful people want to be living near us. You know, you look around and just
Yeah,
people
right.
around the whole
That's
country.
a
just
nice
coming-
way of
people
saying
coming-
it.
they're
That's
coming
a
from
nice
far and
way of
wide just
saying
to
it.
be near us. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, that's a nice way of saying it.
So I would say it's a you know, growing up this was a lovely place to live. I loved living in Dalgony. I always thought it was. We were lucky that we were still before technology really took over. We were just in the real world where, you know, there was actual touching and feeling and being out in the environment as
Yes.
opposed to watching it on your phone.
Yeah.
I would imagine life was good here. I don't know whether
Well,
it was.
you were separated from Greystones. My wife's from Greystones now, and she thought Killincarrig was the wilderness.
And she's right.
God help her. God. But when I was born, I was, you know, Buckley's cottages. Did you remember?
Yes,
Buckley's?
look, just
Are
They
they
had
here?
a bit
Oh.
no, up
Oh.
there past. We used to call it Larburns Hill. I don't know. whether-
it looked near Crow Abbey.
Crow Abbey,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Okay.
And there
yeah,
was
yeah.
three little houses, and they were down in the dip. You had to go down 3 or 4 steps to it. Major Waters built a house there. No, it was Johnny.
Major McGee was there.
Major McGee's up on the top one, but this ground where it was John Buckley's place, right in front of your house.
Yeah,
He had an orchard there.
you had.
He had he had an apple orchard, and he used to have hens and stuff and sell
And
fruit.
damsons and
Fruit
and
every-
everything.
But anyhow, he had these 3 little cottages, and I think they were $1 a week or something. to live
Wow.
in.
Wow.
When Brian Hayden tells me that it's his grandmother or his great grandmother lived in one of those cottages.
Ah.
Maybe
Oh, yeah.
there was the Tools father, and they were Moonies, and there was another family. I don't know who the other family was.
Just talking about stuff that hasn't changed, I would think the Orchard Inn strikes me. I know they've done a little bit of refurbishment, but I'm convinced now they have still the same towels from about 100 years ago in the bathroom, and it just has that feeling that they haven't, gone for the gastro pub.
The Orchard Inn.
Yeah.
But the Orchard Inn was in when I was a kid was PJ O'Connor's.
Right.
That's right.
And it was only at the end. It was bought from the O'Connors by a man called Tommy Maroney.
Okay.
And he changed he modernised the pub.
Okay. And that would have been in the 70s or 60s?
No, Maloney would have been the 60s, the late 60s.
Okay.
And he changed it. He changed it from being PJ O'Connor's to being a
I
popular. I don't think PJ's ever had a lounge. It was a bar.
They had a snug.
A snug.
Right.
You went into a little door. In the middle of the door was the door leading up to their private house and out to the back.
Right.
And on the right hand side was a little snug, and you'd go in. And then on the opposite side, PJ had a sort of a shop that you could go in and get a can of stout or butter or something.
Right.
That's
An off license, yeah.
Well, that's like the Willow Grove pub and
there was no such
and all that kind of stuff. It was such a great tradition because even the beach house, I should say, the Burnaby had that little snug down the side, which was where the bar, and then I know up at the Willow Grove we used to grab milk and all that, and the little kind of snug area around the side was also the counter from the bar ran into this room that you could buy your groceries as well. And
well, you could buy butter in PJ and Connors, and if he didn't like you, the butter would be behind him, and he would sell it.
Well, he doesn't know what you're going to do with it if he doesn't trust you. You could look dodgy,
But many a time now, I used to go up for a sweet can of stout, bring it down to Father, and he'd have the red poker in the fire and put it mull pop.
Ah, wow, that's great. Holy moly. Fair play.
Yes,
But it has changed now. Well, Tommy Maroney changed it.
Right.
From being PJ O'Connor's into a kind of a modernist.
And PJ's been a very traditional pub.
Yeah, well, PJ
the
O'Connors were well. Dave, his son, was well known. He was a reporter and he was a photographer
Dave O'Connor,
for the Brave people.
Yes.
He was PJ's son.
Right.
He probably he would have worked in the bar himself. But mostly he was,
I must check with David if there's any photographs of that time. He must do because he was such a.
Well,
do you remember Bridget, old Bridget?
Sorry.
Remember old Bridget used to clean the O'Connors. There was Mrs. O'Connor, and then there was before your time. I can barely remember, and I'm older than you, Charlie.
You are. That's
only about 6 months. 6 months by the look of it. I'd say about 6 months.
But anyhow, she used to come out and wash the step, and they had as you go into the snug. I can remember they had lovely tiles in it, and you know who always was in it? I shouldn't say it. One of the Martins. Remember Marcella Martin and Chrissy Martin?
Yes.
They
were regularly there.
They were regularly
there. We just swung in there now just on the off chance, and I think that's always been the way. There'll always be a few people who see it as a second home.
As Charlie says, Mulrooney got rid of a lot of the hang-arounds.
He changed it. Yeah, but
they're doing the same with the horse.
There have been a lot of publicans since then, including Joe Locke had it for a while.
Oh, remember Joe Locke?
He was a publican there for a few years.
The singer Joseph Locke. He used to be hanging in the Delgany Inn a little bit and all that.
Tommy Maroney bought the Delgany Inn.
Ah, well, there we go.
He moved from the Orchard Inn to the Delgany
Inn.
And he sold it. Joe might have been 2 or 3 owners after Maroney.
But Joe Locke used to, remember, had a lovely chestnut mare, and he used to ride it down, and the ladies from around here used to get out, Mother being one of them, and Molly Barry and them, and get their tea cloths and shake, and he used to bow at them.
Exactly. He had it was in the movie of his life, and I really hope Ned Beattie played him. I hope it's true, but he was chatting up some young girl, and he was just becoming famous. And his chat-up line was, he said, "Stick with me, girl, and you'll be farting through silk."
Oh, I could go with that. Yeah, he was horrible.
It never worked for me as a line, but it worked for him. Now the tea rooms, that's a huge part. I
Oh,
always
the
think
tea
of the
rooms,
tea rooms.
yeah, well, the tea rooms,
You have a little bit of history there.
Yeah,
But
I
how
think-
were the years of the tea room? Were they always?
well, the 1600s, the orchard, the cherry trees were built in were Spanish, were brought from Spain, and they were
That's
planted
right.
there
And
in
that
the
was somebody
1600s.
just like
But
one of the
they-
local landlords did.
Well, I presume
just-
whoever owned the land at
Right,
the time brought them
right,
all. I don't
yeah.
know who owned the land. It could have been Latouche, but
Yes,
well,
yeah.
maybe Latouche
I don't
was
know,
a bit early for him.
That's on beside the pump up there about them being Spanish.
Yeah.
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 Right.
Well, I have it downloaded.
Well, that's
here. I have
1600s,
some of that
wow.
downloaded here for you. Well, I think it was in the 1600s,
Right,
the 17th
right.
century, that they would have been planted. And well, the Devereux always, in my memory, the Devereux always ran the tea rooms.
Okay.
Maeve
Okay.
Devereux ran the tea rooms
That's right.
with her
Right,
sister.
right.
Yeah.
With her sister.
I remember
And
the
her sister
Sheila.
Sheila, with her sister Sheila,
Right.
and then our sisters-in-law as well used to.
And this would have been a good old-fashioned,
Oh, well, it was
tea and
famous.
scones and all that. Or was it
And
like
you
full
get a
lunches and
lovely-
dinners? I forget.
You
now
get
what they
a
did.
lovely tea for 2 and 6.
I've a new
Right.
next door neighbour, and he tells me he remembers being brought out here by his mother to the cherry
Wow.
orchard
isn't
tea
that
rooms.
lovely?
That's right.
You know,
I'd love to
so
try
the
and find
cherry
a
orchard-
photograph of the place as the tea room because I haven't been able to. My mum and dad actually, the day they got married, the day after, there was a picture of them standing outside.
outside it,
Yeah, so I
outside it,
haven't been able to find images of inside. I'd love to sort of see it again.
Well, you went through the house,
Right.
and
right.
they had built an area at the back, which now has been in the last year has been converted into a home.
Okay.
That was the tea rooms,
Right.
and May is, and she was famous for her cucumbers.
Is she
sandwiches.
dead or alive?
May I think she might. I don't want to say. I don't
I'd
know.
love to find if she's alive. Hopefully
she
she
alive?
is. It'd be lovely to
Oh,
check
I
her
think
out.
she-
I think
We've been talking about quite a
she
while
probably.
now.
I saw her
I think she's
with a
not.
carer in the supermarket, but it's
She's
two
not
or
with
three,
it.
2 or 3 years ago. I
Okay.
don't think she'd be able to get
Right.
it.
No.
Right.
No.
Okay. But
See,
still.
Sheila died. Did Sheila die? Yes,
Oh,
Sheila
that's
died.
But that's such a beautiful, because I always even still looking upon it as the Cherry Orchard Tea Room. It's a lovely little building.
But
to
it
begin
always
with.
had the landmark
seen as
of
a-
the rounded tree,
Yeah.
which had, it had got out of shape, but has been
Yeah.
reshaped in
And
the.
that's a private
in the
house
last
now,
12
isn't it?
months.
You know,
It's a private, it's a
I'd
private
probably be
house.
tempted to do it again, but I guess it's just too small now. But
Yeah.
given the times you live in, where every second building is a coffee shop, you think, well, why not?
Charlie and Paul,
Yeah.
they used to have all the tables up on the. They had a garden at the back of the
Yeah.
house.
Nice.
And they had it all. And then when they would be finished, you could come out through the side gate. You know where the
it was
little
yeah.
river is.
onto the lane there. Yeah.
onto the
Right,
lane,
right.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think now with landmarks, that and I'll find out what the name of that building is now. As I said, I obviously had it wrong that it was Killincarrig House, but obviously the orchard and the
Well, there was Killincarrig Castle, which is no. I have a history of it here for you.
great.
So you can
right.
put, you did a little feature on it before that wasn't absolutely correct.
Was
so,
it not?
So no.
I thought it was actually.
So I have a history here of what is
No.
of Killincarrig Castle.
Would you
Maybe
guys-
you would put it in and
Oh, absolutely.
you'd,
Yeah. But would you guys have had that as a kind of a play
it
area?
was a
that
play
would have
area.
been
Was it
very
when I
much-
was a kid? It was a
My
play.
brother was
There-
after Ness and he fell from nearly the top of that tower.
Holy,
Yeah.
holy moly.
And he broke his leg.
Well, it was
Oh,
private
lucky
property.
him, really.
It was private property. It was in
Right.
it was in Burns Garden.
That's
Okay,
right. Yeah.
okay.
And it was
But before that, it wasn't. It was
It's
in the
always just, I
Burnaby
always
estate.
thought it was a bit
Part
of
of
a
the
public, but
Burnaby,
now
yeah.
obviously it's locked up really.
but it wasn't. When I was a kid, it was always in Burns Garden.
Oh
Right.
yeah, you could.
But they were okay though, were you?
Yeah, well,
were
they
okay
did.
with-
Mrs. Byrne might shout at you every now and then.
Okay.
But if Andy and John and were there
Yeah.
playing, and Gary
Right.
were playing with you, there was
They're
no
kids.
problem.
Ah, yeah.
You could play it.
Has there ever been a call for it to be preserved?
Well, it is preserved. It is
Right.
a preserved building.
And being preserved, building and all that, like the idea that it might be of public interest, but I guess there's not really a huge amount of features in it. It's not other
No,
than
it's just
Cromwell came there, didn't he?
Yeah, it is. That's all it's in.
Right,
It's
yes,
Cromwell,
yes, I remember
on
that.
his way to
And
Wexford.
they found silver coins of William III, I think in 1837. They were kind of within the grounds. That's what I read in this.
Oh, I didn't know
Well,
that.
when
Yeah.
Burnaby Heights was being built,
1833.
Joe Carney, who was big into the metal
Yeah,
detecting,
metal detector.
he did a survey of the
Ah.
near the golf course end.
Right.
He did a survey of all the area, but at the golf course end, which is the lower end, the castle would be on the high ground, and there was obviously a battle because he found hundreds and hundreds of shots.
Did you find any silver
yeah.
coins? He lived in the
No, I
Bahamas
didn't.
now.
No.
Did
He
you find
found
any
he
silver?
found
all
the
the original
yeah.
points of the
Yeah, I forgot what they call them.
Wow.
But that was all that ground where Charlie's house is now at the present moment was all the castle.
It was
Castlefield.
Castlefield. Castlefield.
Right. Okay.
And they
that's
had
what you're
cows
referring
and sheep on it.
to. Ah, right.
Mm.
Right. Now, would you? I don't know whether you still feel that it's given the size is still at its core relatively small, whether you still feel you know everyone, whether
No,
it's
you
inevitable change
You wouldn't
of
know everybody.
I went to Greystones today, and I'm getting away from the subject.
yeah.
Knew 3 people I knew Mary, and I knew Telford Evans
Right.
and myself. And I said to Telford, "You're the 3rd person now, 4th person I've seen here." And he says, "Do you know what? I came down the other day. It's grand now today. It's English voices." But I came
Right.
down the other day and I heard nothing but fun. And he
Well,
says,
there's
"I
students
took
there.
me and went."
Well, there's a lot of students visiting,
Well,
which always happened.
Telford's claim to fame is that Ethel's grandmother,
Right.
she was the local midwife,
Ah, very good, very good. Wow.
nurse ward, and
Right.
he was the last delivery.
Ah,
She-
Telford.
That's how he claimed
Right.
it anyway. Yeah.
Telford.
So something went wrong, obviously, with Telford. Did his face get caught or something? I don't know what went wrong there. There was some blood pressure thing to the head. But listen, we'll wrap it up now. But I will say, beautiful little village always, and I will get more information, proper information from you, and I'll put that above this so people can get the right dates, and we can always edit later on when we find out more. But yeah, beautiful little place. Do you ever feel like leaving? No. You're stuck with Killincarrig and Killincarrig.
I'm too old to leave. I don't know about Charlie, whether he wants to leave or not.
You can get a good 3-wheel motorbike off, hit the highways. There you go, easy rider.
Well, I've been in Killincarrig since I was 3 years of age, I think. You've
All
probably
right.
been here since you were born here, were you?
And my people, I am the 4th generation in Greystones.
Yeah.
Ah, and Mooney was your
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
There you go.
yes.
Any relation
That's
to
the
the
1901 and 1911 census.
Yeah, Mooney.
Ah,
yeah.
Mooney's.
brilliant. Right.
Mooney's,
Well,
yeah.
my grandparents lived just up here.
When is this, Charlie?
Right.
That's the 1901 and the 1911 census.
Right. And your family name now, Charlie, would that
O'Reilly.
always be
Yeah,
in
my
the
grandfather
area?
and grandmother lived in the cottage here just at
That's
at-
right,
at-
Riley's house.
Yeah.
Riley's house.
And that's the picture I have actually, I think, of the guy. There's a house on its own on a kind of the
Yeah,
corner.
I have a photograph here for
Ah,
you.
fantastic.
They were my grandparents, Michael
Right.
and Bridget O'Reilly, and Michael O'Reilly was he was the shepherd on the Burnaby estate, and that
Was he
and
really?
that was an estate cottage.
Wow.
And do you
Right.
know that? Do you know what's that place? You know Whitshed Road in Greystones. Do you know where Maud Stone used to live?
Yes.
Yeah.
When Mrs. Whitshed built that house, Maud Stone's, I don't know, Kiva.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Kiva, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For my grandfather's sister.
Ah.
That's going back many times.
Yeah. No, I just did the history of the estate itself and how it was
Yeah.
planned. It was the first one in Ireland and all that. Amazing houses in there, beautiful spot.
My father's aunt, Sarah Dowling, she was the nurse up in the dispensary. She was a midwife
yes,
too,
yes,
and
yes.
she used to go around all the houses on the Burnaby. Claude McFarlane told me this.
Right.
And she used to have to bring her camp bed with her and her
Wow.
primus, because people in the house wouldn't, after delivering the baby, they wouldn't give her a cup of tea. She used to have to make.
Holy moly. And what era was that now? But that wasn't like the.
Oh, I don't know. I have a photograph in there. I must get it out and look at it.
Yeah, because I know that one of the nurses on a moped or on a motorbike used to book
gosh.
bus. That was, I think her name was Sarah, but anyway, she was a lovely woman.
Well, I know Granny Ward, she was our nurse ward.
Right.
Her husband died in 1913, and after he died, she trained as a Jubilee nurse. So she probably about 1915, 1916.
Well, maybe she
Right,
took
right.
over from Aunt Sarah.
She might have.
There you go.
Yeah,
Could be
and
it, yeah.
I remember.
Telford tells me he was born in 1949, so she would have worked. She would have worked as a midwife in Greystones
And you know,
from about 1915, 1916 up until 1949,
and
Wow.
and she was 74 years of age then.
Wow. That's a
And
good
you
age
know-
to work still.
all Jones, Dowdall's sisters and brothers, that lady was there, delivered all those children across the road.
Her mother.
Yes.
Wow. Well, I should wrap up now, but I will say, given you're both very deep roots here, I think not only do you are you actual, real, proper Killincarrig natives, but you look like natives. I've got to say that too. You have
How'd
the
you
look of
make that?
natives.
How'd you make that out?
You look like
I
you
think
belong. You look like this is where you
think
belong.
Killincarrig people are locally are universally known as the villagers.
There you go, the villagers. That always put a chill up the spine.